Hey everybody. Today I was thinking about an interview I saw yesterday with a spokesperson for the police union. I believe it was out in New York or New Jersey, and he was talking about how they were tired of being vilified and how they had turned all these communities around, and it triggered me because it it's not, to me, it didn't ring as true, because I know that for communities to turn around from one way or the other, it rests in the hands of the people. Now, I don't doubt that the police or law enforcement in general did help out to some degree, but I believe it falls down to the mind state of the people. And the people have always wanted change. I imagine that in many of those neighborhoods, they wanted change for far longer than the police far longer than it took for the police to respond to change. So for him to make that statement, it rings of a disconnect to me, because the people are the power, and the people, when they decide to make a change, then that's when lasting change can happen, because then they solicit the help of law enforcement, and then they solicit the help of lawmakers and legislators to change things for their community for the better for the people. Now, it it rang so true to me, not rang true, but it rang so loudly to me, because in the case of not just George Floyd, but in the case of America in general, the American workforce, or in regard to Americans in government, it seems like we're sold the message, and I the conspiracy theorist in me would have to say that we're sold the message of, you know, these one or two powerful people above you, or however a small number of people in power, they're the ones that are in control, and they're the ones who know what's best or what have you. I think that we're sold that because they know, like we should know, and we should remember that the people are the power, that the people control what the people want. The people have far more power than the individuals. And you see it time and time again. The only way for the small minority at the top to keep power is to try to dissuade the people from taking actions that would be beneficial most for them. But more importantly, they try to dissuade them from the knowledge that they are the power, that the people are the power. And you see it in times, biblically speaking. You can hear about it in times of Pharaoh and the Hebrews, how, he said that their numbers are getting too great, and that was going to become a problem because the people have the power. Not, he didn't say that they were exceptionally intelligent, that they were anything special. He just noted about the collective, the power of the collective. That it was just too many of them, and if they decided to do one thing or the other, there'd be no way that in the time of Pharaoh that he could have successfully fought back. And we saw that in the case of Moses, that eventually became the end game. So in regard to other situations, especially jobs and stuff, I think the people have the power. But for me, and this is again, most of these are for me first, and then for everyone else. It's it's for me. I want to learn what does that look like in the different facets of my life. What does it look like for me in regard to the people in my workplace? How do we change things in my workplace? Because I know that the people are the power, but the small minority at the top have done an excellent job of organizing and creating an infrastructure that seems to support them perpetually, and the people who are underneath or at the bottom don't seem to stand a chance. Even though I know, even with that, the people are the power. So it uh it it rings in, especially in the case of the protests that are going on in America right now, that uh, they're doing everything to kind of shut down the people from gathering and from becoming unified, and from seeking just a civil discord, because if it ultimately it's better for the entire country if we are working as a collective versus working as a section of, this political party or that political party, or even, or even uh, divided by race or class or what have you. We would function better as a country if we could get past those hurdles. Now I know that that's easier said than done, but it it's crazy when you see that peaceful protests are being broken up by violence, and it's portrayed as if the protesters are the violent ones, and the police come there with guns and shields and tear gas and rubber bullets and stuff. And you don't come with a peaceful agenda when you come with those things. If I came knocking on someone's door with a loaded shotgun, and I'm like, and they answer the door, and I'm like, oh, I'm just here to wish you a happy birthday, they wouldn't get that message. Even if I said I'm here to wish you a happy birthday, they wouldn't get that message because of the presentation. And the presentation that's been given to the protesters, from what I've seen and what I've seen on the news and what I've read and the stories that I've watched from individuals who have literally been down there, and from individuals who have taken video from down there, the presentation makes it very combative. It makes it very confrontational, and to me, it begs the question, why would you try to undermine or try to break apart the theory that we all know is true? And that theory is that the people, it's not a theory, it's a fact, the people are the power. So all these things to break up the people, when this is what the people want. The people want justice, the people want fairness. But it seems like all the people have the power, and these people are supposed to be hired by the people to do the job that they're hired for, and to work and be beholden to the people. But yet they're out there with this presentation of violence, and this presentation of force, and this presentation of, if you don't leave, we're gonna harm you, and they're calling people combatants and stuff like that, and like all these things that are anti what we're supposed to be. And I don't claim to be the most patriotic or even the most nationalistic, but I did, after reading Barack Obama's The Audacity of Hope, it kind of made me more optimistic about the potential of this country and what this country could be. And I think that we can be far better, and I think that that's the reason why a lot of people who are not in the elite class of the Americas still fought in the wars, and still, supported the country, even though they were mistreated by the country, even though they were deceived and flat out lied to by this country, even though they were victimized and brutalized by this country. They believed in those ideals, and I think that's still why people come here, because they believe in the ideas of freedom, the ideas of liberty, the ideas of a chance for a better life. Not even a guarantee, just a chance for a better life. And I think that the people having the power, and the people having the belief that we all deserve a chance for a better life, has to be stronger than the show of force that we've been seeing. And to mimic what everybody else has been saying around this time, I have never in my lifetime, and I'm not that old, but I've never in my lifetime seen so many people get together on the same wavelength, on the same point. And specifically, I'd say white people, because I've seen, for these same social issues, at least the ones that are pertaining to police brutality or social justice, you see, your sprinkle of, non-people of color, but it's predominantly people of color, black and brown people, Asians, Native Americans, what have you. But you don't see many white people, and I could speculate the reasons why, I don't know, but now it feels different, and I'm thankful that for the first time in my life I've seen people who are openly saying, Black Lives Matter specifically. And that does make a difference, because when you call a thing by its name, you give it identity and you give it visibility. And I think that that's important. So I think that, not knowing what the end goal will be, I know that the people do have the power. I know that America is nothing if it isn't its ideals, and I believe that we'll make it closer to those ideas. I don't know if we'll reach those goals where we'll find equality across the board. If we'll keep pushing toward it, I imagine we'll get closer. But I'm thankful to be in a position now where I am part of the people, and it feels like we are becoming a people instead of just isolated and segmented groups. Because, like I said before, it didn't feel like we were a part of the people, because we were explicitly told, black people I'm talking about, explicitly told that we were not part of the people. We are not, we are the other, we are the them, we're the they, we're the those. So I'm thankful that it feels like we are finally becoming what we have always been, and that is a crucial part of the American fabric, and that we are pushing toward real and substantial change, not just for us, but knowing that because of how we've been treated historically, that if the change happens for us, then it's beneficial for everyone else who isn't us, and we can hopefully grow from that toward a oneness and an equality, if that is to be. All right.